Hi everyone, so this is actually a requested video from the lovely Jamie. I'll post a link to her channel in the comments section. I thought that I would talk about diaries and journals, scrapbooks, that kind of thing, and how that helped me with my anxiety, depression, etc. So the first thing I started was when I was in high school. Obviously you can tell how old this is, I mean it's sellotaped together. Obviously most girls will write a diary, so I used to stick a picture of me and McFly and my dog at the time, Bellamy. But this kind of diary was just the typical normal diary where you'd write the date and what happened on that day. But it did really help me, obviously, with stuff like that when something had happened. Obviously I'd write about it. But obviously doing a diary like this, and I stuck like my dad's medical bracelet in it when he was in hospital and stuff like that. It was very difficult because for me, I couldn't keep up with writing in it every day, because that is a big commitment. So when I was about 20, I went and saw a counsellor with Caledonia Youth Scotland, and she suggested to keep a little journal. And she said, pick a book that kind of represents how you're feeling. So this was my first one. And she said, write in it. Oh my God, there's a picture of my ex in here. I will not show you that. So you would, I started, what I done was sticking photos in it and writing little comments about it and how I felt. That's how I started it. And then I would just stick in it like anything that had happened that was good. So like learning to drive and all the pictures and that. And if I got something, I would like stick in it. So like a little butterfly that was on a card that someone got me, and photos of me getting my first tattoo. So that's how I started it. So I was like, right, start by sticking in the positive things. And then what happened was when I was feeling down, I'm going to try and find a, like, one that I can actually show you. When I was feeling down, I would write in it as well. So this one, so when I was feeling down, I would write in it as well as the happy. And then I could go, like flick back and look and go, okay, well here are all the positive things, and reflect on the positive as well as the negative, and realise that there was more positive than negative. And I would also get my friends to write in it as well. And I wrote my New Year's resolution in it to get over the past, and I'd put like a big thing and end. So I'd be like, that's the end of that. And it would just get the thoughts out of my head. But never, when you're doing this kind of thing, never just focus on the bad. Never write, okay, I'm sad or I'm upset and angry and I'm going to write in it then, because then it's just going to be filled with negative. Also the positive. So this was my second diary. You can see it's much more colourful than the first one. So this is the second one I got. And I would like even stick in it, like I've still got the tape like from when I threw my friend a baby shower. So this was like the size of her bump. So I've still kept that. And I'd stick like photos of like family in there. And so it's not just negative. And it's like lovely looking back on these things, but also looking back on how I felt at the time. So in like saying, it feels like as if whenever I try and talk about a problem to a friend will turn around and talk about their problems and make a million times worse. So at the time that really affected me. But now I look back years later and go, okay, that's not a big deal. But at the time it was. So yeah, these sorts of things really helped me. And at the moment, this is my diary. So, but this one is very different and completely different to this. This is writing mine and my husband's fertility journey and the dates and how I'm feeling at the time, and the letters, like photocopies of the letters, just to track the journey and get out any thoughts and fears that I have. But I also, this is the diary that I picked, and it says blooming beautiful on it, because I didn't want it to be a negative thing, although it is quite sad. But yeah, I love keeping these, and I still look back on these from at the time when I was at my lowest with my anxiety, and I was trying so hard to get actually where I am now. I was trying to get back into college, get into work. I'd never worked. And looking back on it now, I'm like, okay, these things that bothered me back then, they're just a small part of my life. But because I went through that, I am who I am now. And it's lovely to look back, and it's not all negative, so it's not depressing. I've even got birthday cards stuck in here that I got at the time that I loved, and one that my little cousin sent me, who's not actually that little anymore. She's like 14 now. But yeah, it's lovely, and like I would stick in who I looked up to at the time, and you know, things like that. It's a good memory to have. So yeah, it's highly recommended to even try it, because see, when I started this, I was like, it's not going to work. I've got nothing to write in here, and that's why I just started from like way back when with pictures of my granddad and me at school, because I didn't know how to express myself in a diary like that, because she was like, don't just write, draw, scribble, do it in colour, do it in black and white, however you're feeling at the time, just express yourself. Stick magazine cuttings if you've seen something that's inspired you or that you love, or something that you've got, like I'm pretty sure in one of these diaries I actually have from my first date with an ex, I actually have like a little star that he picked off a car for me, because like just something like that was like so important to me. So I'm just going to cover my ex's face. I actually still have the star, that because that at the time I was like, oh, that's so sweet, so I still got that, and I stuck it in the diary with how I felt at the time. And I've even got like leaflets and my college badges and you know, things like that, because these little things mean so much to you at the time. And I always like to keep them, but instead of having them in a drawer, having them on what actually happened, how I felt. So another style that you could do is, I used to write the date and how I was feeling. It's all backwards. So it's like how I was feeling good, and then what happened, like what made you feel good, what made you feel bad. But that's another thing that's very date specific, and writing in it daily, which for me didn't work, but it might work for other people. I much preferred the scrapbook way of doing things. And I've now become like obsessed with creating scrapbooks. So there's also like these style of scrapbooks. This is my wedding scrapbook, which I just stuck everything in here from the wedding. So like pictures and like how I was feeling. So I've even wrote, I asked Mikey to text me when like we were on the way, when he was on the way, and like what he said to each other, and you know, things like that, which meant so much to me. And that Gangsta's Paradise came on the radio when I was in the car on the way up. So it's not the best picture, but Mikey texted me this picture when he was on his way up to the wedding at 2:14 p.m. saying, we're in the car on our way, and I replied, I'm crying already. I was standing in my dress in my mum and dad's living room in my wedding dress with Kevin and Shell. And yeah, just everything about it. Like I even printed off what my cousin said like during the wedding, because he performed our wedding. So stuff that I maybe would have forgotten, like I would have forgotten that text message, and you know, I wanted to look back and have those memories, so I created a scrapbook about it instead of just an official album. And then I also created this one, which I haven't done a cover on yet, with all the gigs that I've been to, with pictures and the tickets and stuff. So I like doing that, because then when you are sad, or you're having a bad day, or you're going through a rough patch, you can look back on, okay, what I enjoyed doing, going to gigs, and pictures of you at the time, or your wedding album, or going out with friends, or whatever it might be, or even just if you enjoy, I used to love magazines, and my wall, when I lived at my mum and dad's, I had this massive wall with cutouts of magazines. So you could even create a scrapbook with loads of magazine cuttings of like things that inspire you. Like loads of people do dream boards and have it on their wall in their room. Just any kind of creative like output, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be good at art to do this thing. It can be as messy as you want, as long as it represents you. And I just find this sort of thing so therapeutic and so helpful. So those are the ideas that I know about and that I do. But if anyone else has any ideas or what they do to help express themselves, let me know in the comments.